you finished tracing everything with your black Sharpie, we need to do some shadows. We're going to use the ebony pencils to do that because you can get some really nice dark values. Value is the lightness and darkness of a color, and that's one of our elements of art. And so we're going to create shadows to make our portraits look more three-dimensional. So to do that, we need to decide where you want to have your shadows on the face. So before you do anything with the background, let's focus on adding shadows to the face first. So if I want my light source darker on the right side of my face, I'm going to use the pencil and start shading with a darker value right next to the Sharpie line. I'm going to add a little bit along the hairline. Maybe a little bit on the forehead. You really don't need a lot of graphite because then we're going to use a tissue to blend it a little bit into the white of the paper. I'm just adding it a little bit along the hairline. Also a little bit on this side of the hairline. Maybe even a little bit in the braids. I could add a little bit of the graphite so that I can blend it a little bit in the ear, so it doesn't look as flat. And then underneath the chin, you want to probably do some shading on one side of the chin area. So on this side is going to be my shadow under the chin. And then over here a little bit, on this side a little bit in the ear. When we use our tissue, it's going to kind of blend it a little bit more. I'm going to add a little bit on the shoulders as well. So I'm going to add some of the graphite there. So there's a little bit of shadow on the shoulder. And then maybe a little bit on the shoulder on this side. I'm going to add a little bit on the shoulder over here. Also maybe like underneath the nose a little bit, or maybe you want to add a little bit underneath the eyes, a little bit of shadow underneath the eyes. I'm not going to leave it like that. I'm going to go over it with the tissue. Now with the tissue, I don't want to just take it and smudge over the entire thing. That would just make it really blurry and messy. What you want to do is just bunch up the tissue like that and then use it as a blending tool. So we want to do this to the portrait first before we do anything with the background. And you might need to wash your hands so that you don't have like fingerprints all over the place on your picture. So it's blending a little bit, little circle motions with the tissue. Just just going to go over it a little bit so that it's not as scribbly looking, but it blends into the paper. So I'm going to finish doing that, and then we'll come back for the next step, and then we'll work on the background.